Hello, and thank you to all of our presenters. I also want to thank all of the coalition participants that joined us over the last 2 days. I'm hopeful that over the course of the last 2 days, you were able to obtain not just valuable information and insight, but also a chance to exchange best practices among your peers as you prepare your final application for submission for phase two. And that through this conference, you take with you a collaborative partner in EDA to help you initiate the possibilities of sustainable and inclusive economic development in your respective communities. The work you are doing demonstrates how we as EDA will work collaboratively to build back better together in regions across the nation. I'm excited for each of you, the regions you represent, and look forward to seeing your final proposal. Lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't take the time to thank EDA's amazing American Rescue Plan team who worked tirelessly to ensure this conference was a resounding success. I want to specifically give a shout out to Angelica Pellegrino, Max Walker, Scott Andes, Maria Mezic, and Alex Jones. Thank you, team. Now I'd like to turn it over to Scott Andes to wrap up the conference. I wish you best of luck and look forward to our continued collaboration. Scott, over to you.
Thank you, Assistant Secretary Castillo. Really appreciate it. And thank you all for attending. Just like yesterday, you'll automatically be moved into your Zoom rooms for your member coalition meetings. This time is yours to use as you see fit, whether it's an opportunity to talk a little bit about the technical questions that have emerged throughout the conversation that you want to bring to your EDRs and others, or nail down some components of your pitch. Before I turn it over to Allison to close us out on behalf of the technical assistance team who you've heard from throughout these 2 days, I wanted to just make two quick observations that have come up throughout the day. First, really that at the end of the day, humans are really central to this entire effort. The purpose of this billion-dollar program is that actual human beings in your community are benefited in ways that they would not have been otherwise. And I think this can actually be an important almost tactic to think through the connectivity between your projects. Like the core feature of what is called place-based interventions and policies, which the Build Back Better regional competition is definitely embodies, is that a single human being can interact with your different projects throughout his or her career and life, whether it's a training program that then moves into entrepreneurship, a commercialization strategy at your local university. But I think when you really being purposeful about how could one person, an actual person, walk through your different projects and interventions, and how can you be incredibly explicit about the connectivity there? I think one of the real flaws of economic development in the last 10 years or so is we've been sort of taken by storm the notion of serendipity, that all it takes is a coffee shop and a few good ideas and people will emerge with their next cluster or business. That is not true. There is friction in American economic life, and the ability to reduce that friction is at the real core of this project and this overall effort. So as you think through how your projects come together, I do encourage you to take that human-centric view and ask the question, is it realistic? Is it possible, let alone probable, that an actual human could walk through these different projects and interventions, and how can we create that connectivity, make it even stronger, more reliable, and how are we measuring whether or not those things are occurring? Those are the types of things that are really critical. The second just high-level takeaway that I wanted to flag is from our great TA sessions with our great EDRs, where they were walking through why a project was successful and was investable. And one of the things I really loved about the examples they gave is they weren't super flashy. They weren't, this is the next how we're going to apply this next amazing general purpose technology to et cetera, et cetera. They were practical. There was demand for wood products and services. There was clear indication of industry need for particular interventions, particular policies. That's what we're looking for. We really are trying to see, is there something that if you can get these projects done, will meet some customer demand, be it that customer as a worker, an employer, an entrepreneur, or others. So, stick to the sort of really industry focused designs here. Just wanted to end by really echoing Secretary Castillo and thanking our TA speakers, Bill, Don, Lee, and Trissa, who really gave us great insights into the different parts of their domains throughout the past 2 days. And then want to re-echo thanks to the EDA team, particularly Angelica, Bernadette, and Alex Jones, who've really worked really hard to pull this together. So they're behind the scenes, but they really are the ones who've been driving the work and were helpful to get this done. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Allison to give us a couple of next steps, how you will continue working with the technical assistance providers and others. Looking forward to engage in tomorrow's office hours and beyond. Thanks, everyone. Allison, take it away.
Thanks, Scott. I also just want to share my gratitude and appreciation to all of you. I know every day and every hour really matters right now. So we thank you for being here, being present, being reflective. And we'd love your feedback. What was most helpful in these past 2 days? Where are you feeling like you need the greatest support as you think about the sprint from today to March 15th? So we do have a very quick survey we're hopeful you can complete. It should take no longer than 3 minutes, and it'll help inform the next phase of our strategy in terms of what we're offering you all over the next 6 weeks. In terms of expectations, in addition to completing the survey, we'd love to see you at office hours tomorrow. I imagine there will be inherently some follow-up questions coming out of 2 days of rich content. And then we'll be in touch again next week, midweek, to set the table for what's next. You can also, in the meantime, complete the intake form that Ishan and Dan offered yesterday, review the slides that are forthcoming, start thinking about your messaging and those core messages at the center of the messaging triangle, and then look forward to being in touch next week. We will be talking more about the resource library we're completing for you, additional webinars you can engage in, and other opportunities for interaction. So thank you all again. As we close out, I just want to reflect on Assistant Secretary Castillo started yesterday talking about how we're both living history and making history. And then Bruce Katz grounded us in Dolly Parton's wisdom about know who you are and do it on purpose. You all are not only living history and making history, you're redefining what's possible in history. Toni Morrison once said, if there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, you must be the one to write it. Thank you all for taking the time to write it. We are very grateful for this opportunity and look forward to being part of the journey with you from here to March 15th. Thanks, everyone.